Greetings, old friends.
Yo guys, welcome to Trek Trav. I'm Trav, and today we're going to talk about Star Trek Picard Season 3 and the trailer that dropped, of which looked really, really exciting. I love seeing the new characters. I love seeing the old cast come back. Worf's a pacifist now. It was a really, really interesting trailer. I'm just not sure that they're going to be able to pull this off. Write down what you think in the comments and whether you think Season 3 is going to be just a horrendous mess or if it's going to be an amazing reinvigoration of Star Trek Picard as a show. So in the trailer, we're shown a mishmash of different scenes. We see the Titan A, we see Captain Picard, Worf, Riker, Troy, Beverly, Seven, Raffi. And as I've said before in previous videos, it's really, really weird to me that they established these new characters in Picard Season 1, and what they didn't do is actually just follow through with them and have their character growth. I would much rather have seen the TNG cast come back in gradual increments than have a whole season that's just dedicated to them. It feels a little to me like what they did after Season 2 was readjust their thoughts on the series. Patrick Stewart himself actually said that he didn't want all of the cast back in the show. He just wanted this cast to actually grow on its own, and you would have them. It had to be an earned cameo. And what I felt, and what I got during the New York Comic-Con interview, when they interviewed the entire TNG cast, is Patrick Stewart just didn't look very interested. He seemed to sort of take a back seat to the rest of the TNG cast, and it was really, really weird to see. Weird to see that he didn't look quite as enthused as everyone else did. Certainly Brent Spiner, I feel like, showed up way too much. He should have been. I can forgive Aaron Soon in the first season of Star Trek Picard, but in Season 2, there was no reason for him to be there. I certainly feel that it'll be exciting to see these characters and what they're up to, but I would much rather see these characters be hurtled into the storyline when it was relevant. I think Geordi is an interesting one. I think Worf already had such a integral and integrated plot that it actually makes 10 times more sense to have him pop up around. I think that Riker and Picard have a really good relationship in Star Trek Picard. I just feel like it feels like a bit of a, we're trying to claw you back, come and watch. And it certainly feels like that from, I think, a lot of the fans. I think a lot of you guys feel that maybe they've just gone, oh shit, let's just do TNG Season 8. And I think that's the craziest part about it. It does feel like TNG Season 8. Even when they said, oh, we've got an original villain, they've got Moriarty. They've got lore from that trailer. Brent Spiner said, I don't want to play Data again. And it makes no sense that you would suddenly put him as lore. Other than, oh, fans, look, here's a little bit of nostalgia for you. Bringing Moriarty back, honest to God, when I saw the trailer, that was the part I was most excited by. Because if anyone's gonna be pissed at Picard and the crew, it's gonna be Moriarty. I certainly think this new villain looks interesting. It's Christopher Plummer's daughter, and Christopher Plummer is in Star Trek VI, which is one of my favorite films. I hope his daughter lives up to that strength. Certainly in the trailer, she looks like a strong villain. I don't get the hair. I don't get why she's gone for I'm the nerd in the back of the IT crowd show. If you've ever seen that, it's a British sitcom. And there is a character who has exactly the same haircut. And it's amazing. But it's an interesting thought process. Like Terra Metalis, who blocked me on Twitter, by the way, don't know what I did, was talking about how, oh, he's got all these surprises. Don't, for me, and I watched an interesting video the other day, that Star Wars tends to live within its own universe. It's very hard for them to get away from the Skywalker saga of all of it. Star Trek has always been about, especially during the TNG era, Star Trek it's the same setting, but it was new characters in a new place. So it was always a push forward. And whereas Star Trek Picard felt like that, it was a new place for the character. He had a new set of emotions and things he was dealing with. And then they've just backpedaled and gone, no, we're bringing all this cast back. I don't think, personally, if this season ends without one of the characters dying, and I'm presuming it's going to be Patrick Stewart because he is old now, I certainly think if they're going to kill anyone off, they're going to kill him off. I just think that it feels a little bit like Strange New Worlds is reproducing a concept, going back to traditional Trek. Discovery's showing us the future. They've gone to the 32nd century. That's where they are now. They're very in the distance. It's all new. Everything's new. They're creating new law. Strange New Worlds is exploring some stuff, but it's true Star Trek in a way. But there is a lot of nostalgia-bait characters. Prodigy's doing probably the most new with an all-alien cast, barring Admiral Janeway. Certainly Lower Decks is a brand new cast who a lot of people, even people who don't like the other shows, are loving Lower Decks. I think it's a great show. Picard just feels like they've gone backwards. It feels like they've just gone, we've got to save this shit. We've got to turn it 180 and we've got to focus on the TNG cast and what made them great. And the TNG cast is vying for a new show on Twitter now. They're talking about, well, we can keep going. Star Trek isn't about revisiting those nostalgic characters. It wasn't about that during the TNG era. And it's only become that because it's easy money. Paramount's going, this is easy money for us. Whereas Star Wars has always been about creating this nostalgia around these characters. The Mandalorian was successful because Mandalorian looked like Boba Fett. He had a cool helmet. Ahsoka will be successful because it's a character George Lucas created in the prequel show, The Clone Wars. Obi-Wan was successful because it's Obi-Wan from the prequels. The prequels are particularly hot right now because that generation that grew up with them is now making the stuff. Star Trek feels a little bit like it's not willing to risk the fan base on a completely new show. And Discovery was the risk. And even Discovery took a little bit of a U-turn getting out of the 23rd century, went to the 32nd. To be honest, Discovery and Prodigy are the most self-contained of the Star Trek shows. There's very little nostalgia berries within those shows. Prodigy has Janeway, but she's a hologram. I'm sure we'll see more of that next season or the end of season 1. What do you think about Star Trek Picard? I personally am excited, but I just don't think that going this way really respects what's come before. We had some good characters. The core cast of characters from Star Trek Picard pretty much eliminated last season, and they're gone. You've got Seven and Raffi who are still there. And then the TNG cast coming in, it just feels a little bit like, screw you guys, screw all that character development. How are you supposed to be invested in a show that completely got rid of its principal cast after the second season and brings in these nostalgia, these characters who we haven't seen for a while and whom they're going to add new stuff to? You're doing one of two things. You're creating a buzz around the nostalgia of these characters, but at the same time, you're taking away from the show its individuality as a show. It's essentially TNG Season 8. or even the term Metalis has talked about it being the sequel to Nemesis we never got. And to me, it just feels a little bit like they're just desperate to pull people in for this. And maybe it's Amazon Prime. Maybe Amazon Prime just decided, look, we want you to go full this way because the other 2 seasons have been losing viewers. I don't see losing viewers. I see a lot of people getting pissed off, but they're still watching. So I don't really understand where their ideas are coming from. So hopefully season 3 is okay. I am excited to see the progression of characters I love from my childhood, but at the same time, it does feel like they've let go of these new characters of whom we either loved or hated, especially Rios. Rios was a great character. They just sort of sidelined him in the 2nd season. Anyway, tell me what you think about season 3 of Picard and how you feel about them going full nostalgia berry, full let's just bring back the TNG cast and do TNG season 8. And make sure to come back to Trek Chat for more videos. Like, comment, and share. Subscribe. Live long and